The truth is gradually coming to light in one of the Kandahar province villages where at least 16 Afghan civilians, including 9 children, were brutally murdered by American soldiers around 10 days ago. The victims have been buried and the survivors are now anxious to let the world know what happened in the middle of the night on March 11th.
It was around 3 at night that they entered the room. They took my uncle out of the room and shot him after asking him, "Where's the Taliban?" My uncle replied that he didn't know. Finally, they came into this room and murdered all the children in the room. There was even a 2-month-old baby.
The eyewitness account confirms the results of an Afghan parliamentary inquiry which found that up to 20 US soldiers were involved. Since the very beginning, Washington has been trying to isolate the case to one supposedly rogue US soldier identified as a Staff Sergeant Robert Bales. The 38-year-old, who has been awarded the Army Good Conduct Medal 3 times, was transferred to the US last week. This despite calls for him and other perpetrators of the massacre to stand trial inside Afghanistan. Many are skeptical about justice being served to those involved in the Kandahar carnage. They refer to a similar incident in Iraq in 2005 when US Marines fatally shot 24 Iraqi civilians, including women and children, in the village of Haditha. In that case, Staff Sergeant Frank Woodridge sent his squad to several homes with a shoot-first order. 8 Marines were initially charged with killing the Iraqis, with Woodridge facing the possibility of life behind bars. In the end, 7 Marines were acquitted or had charges dropped, and Woodridge got a plea deal in which he pled guilty to minor charge of dereliction of duty and got acquitted of assault and manslaughter charges.
Pretty standard, actually, and it reaches back a lot further than that. In fact, it goes all the way back to the Korean War in the 1950s, the opening weeks of the Korean War, when large numbers of Korean civilians were also killed by U.S. soldiers, and essentially the incident was buried. Much the same thing happened in Vietnam with My Lai. There were very few punishments handed out.
There are a host of other incidents involving the killing or abuse of civilians by US troops in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other parts of the world. Many believe this has paved the way for more horrific incidents involving soldiers serving in wars that have been launched under false pretexts in the first place.